Every year, the NBA MVP race gives basketball fans something to argue over. Who deserves to be called the league's best? It's always about talent, leadership, and jaw-dropping performances. But this season is different. It's the kind of race that'll be talked about for years. This year, the MVP race isn't just about numbers or highlight reels. It's about rivalries, narratives, and proving who can rise above the rest when it matters most. What makes this year so thrilling? Why does every single game feel like it could tip the scales? Stick around, because we're about to dive into what makes this MVP battle unlike anything we've seen before. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. The NBA MVP, or Most Valuable Player, is one of basketball's most prestigious awards, recognizing the standout performer of the regular season since 1955 to 56. But the accolades don't stop there. The league also shines a spotlight on conference finals MVPs, honoring the best players from each conference with special trophies. The Larry Bird Trophy for the East and the Magic Johnson Trophy for the West. To top it all off, there's the NBA Finals MVP, an award decided by the media votes. Michael Jordan still holds the record here with 6 to his name. Together, these awards celebrate the very best at every stage of the game. What makes these trophies so special isn't just a recognition, it's what they represent. The MVP award is a symbol of dominance, consistency, and greatness, qualities that resonate far beyond the court. It's no wonder that basketball fans around the world, not just in the US, follow the MVP race so passionately. Winning it is more than an achievement. This year, however, the race feels different. Fans, analysts, and players themselves can't stop talking about it. The stakes are sky high, the rivalries are fierce, and the competition is neck and neck. It's not just about stats or performances, it's about who can rise above the rest when it counts the most. And for the first time in years, no one can predict who will take the crown, but let's take a wild guess, starting with these guys. Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets. Let's talk about Nikola Jokic. This guy isn't just having a great season, he's owning the MVP conversation. With jaw-dropping stats like 31.5 points, 13 rebounds, and 9.7 assists per game, it's no wonder why they call him the Joker. He makes basketball look like a game he's mastered and everyone else is just trying to keep up. Before missing a few games due to illness, Jokic was on fire, literally unstoppable. He dropped back-to-back 40-point games, and he wasn't doing it against just any random team. One of those performances came against Victor Wembanyama, the guy leading Defensive Player of the Year talks and an MVP contender himself. But what really sets Jokic apart isn't just his numbers or those highlight reel plays, it's his unwavering consistency. Night after night, game after game, he's been the backbone of the Denver Nuggets. This season, the Nuggets seem to be finding their groove, and if they keep rolling like this, Jokic's MVP chances are only going to get stronger. So what do you think? Will Jokic snag his 4th MVP trophy this year? Or is there someone else ready to steal the spotlight? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Oklahoma City Thunder. Speaking of MVP contenders, let's dive into another big name this season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His name has been buzzing in MVP conversations, and for good reason. With stellar stats like 31.3 points, 6.1 assists, and 2 steals per game, Shai is proving he belongs in this elite race. Just last week, Shai climbed to the number 2 spot in the MVP rankings, and he earned it. In 2 unforgettable games, he nearly took down the defending champion Boston Celtics and the East-leading Cleveland Cavaliers. These weren't just any matchups, they were nail-biters, and Shai stepped up when it mattered most. Think about it. Going toe-to-toe with 2 of the league's toughest teams and delivering performances like that? This is exactly why Shai is standing at the top of the MVP race. Still as great as he's been, the competition is fierce. For now, Nikola Jokic holds a slight edge, but Shai isn't far behind. So what do you think? Will Jokic maintain his lead, or does SGA have what it takes to pull off an upset and claim the MVP title? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Milwaukee Bucks. Now let's move on to the powerhouse himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Currently sitting 3rd in the MVP race, Giannis is once again reminding everyone why he's one of the league's most dominant players. With averages of 31.3 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 6.2 assists per game, his numbers speak for themselves. Of course, Giannis' MVP case comes with a few bumps in the road. He's been dealing with some knee issues after the Emirates NBA Cup championship game, and it's clear he's still working to find his rhythm. But even when he's not at 100%, Giannis' so-called days off are still better than most players' best performances. That's how extraordinary he is. Need an example? Just check out his recent matchup with Victor Wembanyama.
Wembanyama against Giannis. Shot clock down to 4. Giannis being extreme.
Giannis didn't just hold his own, he dominated. The highlight of his one-on-one defense against Wemby is already being replayed everywhere. Whether it's scoring, defending, or leading his team, Giannis continues to show why he's in the MVP conversation. So the question is, can Giannis make a serious push to reclaim the top spot in this tight MVP race? With his talent and determination, he's got all the tools to remind everyone why he's already a two-time MVP. But with Jokic and SGA also making strong cases, the competition is razor sharp and every game matters. Jayson Tatum, Boston Celtics. Let's shift our focus to Jayson Tatum, who currently sits 4th in the MVP race. With averages of 28.1 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game, Tatum has been one of the most reliable players in the league this season. Simply put, he's a big reason why the Boston Celtics are looking like one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Tatum's consistency has kept him in the MVP conversation all season. Night after night, he shows up, puts in the work, and helps his team win. While Boston's roster has depth, Tatum is undoubtedly their cornerstone. His leadership and impact on both ends of the court are why the Celtics are sitting comfortably at the top of the East. However, even the best players have off nights. For Tatum, that moment came during a big game against Oklahoma City. When it mattered most, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander stole the spotlight with a clutch fourth quarter block on Tatum's layup attempt, flipping the game and securing a huge win for the Thunder. It was a tough blow for Tatum, causing him to slip slightly in the MVP race. But let's not forget what got him here: his consistency, leadership, and ability to impact games on both sides of the court. Setbacks are part of the journey, and what matters is how you bounce back. With Boston aiming to dominate the East, Tatum still has plenty of chances to climb higher in the MVP rankings. This race is far from over. Victor Wembanyama, San Antonio Spurs. Now let's turn our attention to Victor Wembanyama. The 19-year-old phenom is already making waves in the league with jaw-dropping stats: 25.1 points, 10.8 rebounds, and an impressive 4 blocks per game. Sitting 5th in the MVP race, Wemby has shown that he's not just keeping up with the best, he's challenging them. What's putting Wembanyama firmly in the MVP conversation are his standout performances last week. In back-to-back games, he scored 35 points with 18 rebounds in one, and followed it up with 20 points and a massive 23 rebounds in the next. And here's the kicker: those games were against none other than Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP leader. Wemby stepped onto the court and made it clear he's not intimidated by the league's best. He's here to compete, but the challenges kept coming. Up next, Wemby faces Anthony Davis and the Lakers twice. These matchups are crucial, putting him head-to-head with one of the league's top big men. And you know what? Wemby thrives on these challenges. He welcomes competition from All-Stars and MVPs, not just to measure himself against them, but to prove he belongs at their level or higher. What sets Wembanyama apart isn't just his talent, it's his fearlessness. He embraces the pressure, thrives in big moments, and shows a maturity well beyond his years. He's not just playing basketball, he's making a statement. The question now is, how far can he climb the MVP ladder this season? With performances like these, the sky's the limit. So what do you think? Can Wembanyama keep climbing? Or is the competition from seasoned stars like Jokic and Giannis just too steep this year? And now let's see the moments that define the race. Think back to Luka Doncic's jaw-dropping 60-point triple-double, or that unforgettable night when Joel Embiid squared off with Nikola Jokic, delivering a masterclass. And who could forget Giannis Antetokounmpo taking over in crunch time, dragging the Bucks across the finish line in heart-pounding wins? These moments weren't just highlights, they were statements, defining moments that have shaped this season's MVP battle into something truly special. This year's MVP race isn't just about the numbers or individual heroics. It's about how tight the competition is and how every performance can shift the narrative. There's no runaway favorite, no single player towering above the rest. Instead, we're witnessing a collection of stars, each pushing the limits of what we thought was possible. And let's not overlook the fans. They're more engaged than ever. Every game, every clutch shot, every stat is dissected, debated, and celebrated. The conversations extend beyond the court, fueling the kind of energy that only a season this competitive can bring. What makes this year unique is the unpredictability. It's basketball at its finest, with every game feeling like it carries playoff intensity. The MVP race is no longer a question of who, but a celebration of how. These players are redefining the game. So as the season unfolds, one thing's certain. This race will keep us on the edge of our seats until the very last buzzer. Who will rise above the rest? Stay tuned, because the drama is just getting started. So who's going to take home the MVP trophy this year? Will Jokic claim his third title in a row? Or is it finally Joel Embiid's turn to shine and lift that championship hardware? Or could someone else make a surprise leap to the top? One thing is for certain, this MVP race is one for the history books, and we'll be talking about it for a long time. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let us know who you think truly deserves the title. Stay tuned, because the drama is far from over and the MVP race is heating up.